Radio Rahim with our Olympic silver medalist, Richard Torres, getting ready to become a professional fighter. But let's talk a little bit about your experience in these Olympic Games. It was an odd year. There was no crowd there. The games got postponed. First of all, were you teed up to participate in that same role before the Olympics was postponed because of COVID?
Yeah, I was going into the Olympics before COVID hit. I was the captain of the USA boxing squad, and we were all set and ready. Then all of a sudden, the qualifiers got canceled and the Olympics got postponed. We got sent home, and it was a lot. Going into Tokyo, we weren't able to do everything we anticipated just because of COVID. But comparisons a killer of joy, and I went out there with my only Olympics, and I had a great time.
When you realize and the rest of the team realize that, well, we're not going to have the games that we prepare for. As you know, fighters have camps. You train your whole life as a kid in that regard to become an Olympic fighter. And there's a moment that you're supposed to peak. There's a moment that you're preparing for. Having moved that moment, so many things can happen in a year's time. What was that experience like emotionally, physically, and for some of your teammates?
Yeah, no, it was a really rough spot to be in for a while. We peaked at least 3 times in 3 different camps that came to nothing out of it. But and for a little while, it was only supposed to be me and Tiger Johnson going to the Olympics. And then finally, it was me, Tiger, Keyshawn, Troy, and Duke. And so it was a hectic all the way up to the very end of it. But ultimately, we went out to the Olympics with a really strong team, and we came back with more medals than we have since, I think, 2000. And so it was a really good experience, and more power to my team.
And when that moment finally did come for you to start your boxing in the Olympic Games as opposed to preparing for Olympic Games, how was it different in the ring as opposed to all the tournaments and preparation that led up to it?
One of the toughest things was the amount of time in between fights between you and your fighters, between me and my teammates. So everyone on my team fought and won as the guys. And then there was a week and I still hadn't fought yet. And then some of the guys on my team actually fought twice. And I was out there and I was thinking to myself, man, I got to win now. What's going to go on? And just that anticipation to fight. But as soon as you get in the ring, you realize, it's the ring. I've been here 1,000 times before, and I'm going to go on and I'm showing my stuff. And I was able to do that. And the biggest difference and the coolest thing, though, was on the gloves that had the Olympic rings on it. And that was a testament to where we were able to go.
Once a fighter has won a medal, especially in the Olympics, usually they'll say, well, okay, the pro game is where the money is at. Did you immediately know, no matter what happened in these Olympics, that you would plan to turn pro next?
No, and everything's still up in the air, honestly, too. There's a lot of people talking to me, not only promotional companies, but USA Boxing still talking to me, too. There's a ton of negotiations going on, and while I do plan on making my pro debut pretty soon, you never know what's entail. I haven't signed anything yet. And I'm really trying to look over every single offer I get to make sure it's the right one.
Is there a possibility that you'll compete in the upcoming Olympic Games?
I mean, there's always a possibility. I think the chances are pretty slim that I will, but I mean, there's always a possibility if what USA Boxing says is right and it hits home to me. There's always a possibility.
The pro game, just like the Olympic ring being different from preparation, the pro game is different from the Olympic ring. What do you anticipate being the adjustments that you'll have to make to face pro fighters and in preparation for those level opponents? Are you already working on making that kind of a statement in a pro debut that proves that you belong in the pro ranks?
Oh, 100%. I'm definitely going to make a statement in my pro debut. I think I have a style fit for the pros. I'm an aggressor. I really like going out there and having a fight. And I think that's going to show on my debut and in my pro career. I think going out here, I have been making some changes, going more rounds as opposed to, amateur boxing is more of a sprint, pro boxing is more of a marathon. So we have been adjusting our training style to fit that type of style of boxing. But ultimately, it's at the end of the day, it's the dog in the fight, and I think that I have that fight capability and I'm ready for anyone to come my way.
Now you're going to be competing as a heavyweight. There's no super heavyweights in pro boxing, but boy, if there were, these guys would fit that class, especially Tyson Fury. So these guys are giants. Like, I've stood next to them too. These guys are bigger than you, ironically, even though you're a super heavyweight. And you talked about in the Olympic Games, you had some issue with, ducking down too low because the guy was bigger than you. You're going to be facing a lot of guys bigger than you in the heavyweight division. How do you adjust for that? And what are the challenges that you've learned from the Olympic Games to be successful next time out?
You know, there have been a lot of big guys, but one of the things I do is I look at the people that have kind of replicate my style. You know, I look at like the Joe Frazier, I look at the Usyks, I look at, you know, these smaller guys that have been out there and been able to show what they can do against a taller fighter. You know, so I learn from them, I study them, and that's what I'm gonna take into the program too. You know, I value education a lot. Well, every one of my family is an educator. My sister, my dad, my mom, and one of my favorite quotes from Gandhi is live as if you were to die today, learn as if you were to live forever. You know, so I'm in the game of learning, and I'm definitely gonna be learning more and more every time I get in the ring and every time I have a camp.
Well, we're all here for some pretty major heavyweight action on this card tonight. It's pretty stacked, but the main event in particular, boy, somebody better learn something. This is the third fight out. What do you think we see later on tonight?
I think it could go one of two ways. I think Fury's gonna box the heck out of him again, or I think Wilder's gonna get that shot. You know, and everyone that's through everyone's mind. But you can't count Wilder out. You know, just that right hand, like he says, you only have to be perfect 1% of the time, you know, and that's true. So I'm really excited to see what tonight has in store for us because it is a mystery. You know, I think it's going to be Fury all the way unless Wilder hits that punch.
If you were in Wilder or in his camp, what would your adjustment be from the first two fights to be successful in the third?
I think he's starting to do it. He put on a little more weight, so I think that's so he won't be able to be bullied as much. I think if he starts landing that jab a little more, if he starts letting that front hand go a little bit to be able to set up that backhand, then I think that will make a difference in the fight. Fury's just his boxing is incredible. His feints are incredible. He has a really good style. It's gonna be hard, but I mean, all Wilder has to do is land that punch.
You likened yourself to Usyk, Alexander Usyk. Obviously, he is the newly crowned heavyweight champion, unified heavyweight champion, beating Anthony Joshua. When you watched that fight, what were you making of Joshua's performance?
I thought Joshua came off a little timid. I'm not sure why, but I think he was a little gun shy to throw his big punches. He moved around a little bit, but I think the reason why he was so gun shy was because of Usyk's feints and footwork. You know, he was able to go there, and every time Joshua did throw something kind of light, Usyk would step back and counter with something. And I just think that's a testament to the other guys in the heavyweight division being able to move a lot better and being able to punch more. I think that's a testament to say that we're here to stay too.
And in the rematch, how do you see it going, and what adjustments do each guy need to make?
I think I see Joshua throwing a little bit more. I think I see him throwing a little bit harder. So I think the adjustments, I don't know if Usyk has to make that many adjustments. Honestly, he fought an incredible fight. I think the ball's in Joshua's court, and I think he has to just start throwing a little bit more and throwing a little heavier.
Well, he had an awful lot of damage to his face, even though in a winning effort, it looked like he got touched up quite a bit. Yeah. When you throw yourself forward into what you imagine to be the trajectory of your career, if you're at those top elite levels, which one of these guys, at your best, obviously, after you've had this heavyweight experience, do you think you would match up best against? What would be your road to Undisputed if you were king of the world?
You know, I think, and this might be just a little brass because of the Olympics, but I want to fight everybody. You know, in the amateur division, you go up and you don't know who you're gonna fight until the day of the fight, and I kind of like that in a sense. So I'm ready to fight anybody. I really do want to fight anybody, and I'm not a guy that's gonna be like, oh well, you know, the way my career's going, we want it later down the road. Like, give me a fight. You know, I love fighting the best of the best, and whoever they put in the ring against me, I'm gonna do my best, and I'm gonna get the victory.
All right. Well, a lot of guys say it. I believe you, but I'm telling you now, I'm going to show you this tape one day, and it better not be contradicting what you're saying then.
No, definitely do.
We look forward to seeing you in these pro ranks. Your heavyweight career is on the precipice. Good luck with that. I'm sure we'll be speaking many more times in the future. Radio Rahim with Richard Torres.